Welcome back to another episode of Gurukul Online Learning Network. I am Nishit Dey. Hopefully the lessons are really helping you out, and for any queries you have Gurukul Online's Learning Network's email popping right about now around somewhere in your screen. Today we are going to have a very interesting lesson. Sometimes we listen to the sitar in various places, not only solos. We also listen to it in various playbacks. We listen to it in movies. And I think the lesson that we are going to go through today, everybody has heard it somewhere. It's called Jhala. Allow me to demonstrate what Jhala is. It's something like, it's a very fast-paced chording of the sitar, which usually happens at the very end of a performance. It's something like this. So how do we play that Jhala? Before we move on to Jhala, we need to understand what chair is. Around the first lessons, as we explained earlier, that there are two types of sitar. One is Kharaj Pancham or Ravi Shankar style. The other one is Imdad Khani Gharana sitar or Vilayat Khani Gharana sitar, or some call it Gandhar Pancham, the one that I'm holding right now in my hands. Chair, we musicians, we usually, there's this old saying that a musician paints pictures on silence. So we cannot really use this silence if we have a tanpura or some other kind of distraction. So Imdad Khani sitar players, they usually tend to not use a tanpura, just so they can use the silence musically. So we have our very own built-in tanpura. So far, what we have learned is our strokes are going to be absorbed 80% by the main string, and the rest 20% is going to go to the jor string. Now what we are going to do is we are going to use the main string first, and then we are going to move on to the chikari strings. So now the system is going to be completely opposite to what we have learned so far. Before we go to that, it is very important that we understand that the human brain, we register 4x4 as our natural beat cycle. So every time you hear a train going tick 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 tick, you probably count it as 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 instead of 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So every time Jhala is usually played in teen tal, which is a combination of 16 beats. So we counted 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 4 times, that equals to 16. We are going to go into that further at a later stage. For now, what is chair? So it is going to be Ra, what we have learned so far, Ra stroke, but it is going to be applied on the chikari string. What are the chikari strings? These two sas are the chikari strings, the most high-pitched strings in the sitar. So there are two types of jhalas. First, it is going to be an outward stroke that will give you a effect, and the other one will give you a more bassy kind of effect, which is going to be through a downward Ra stroke. Allow me to demonstrate. This is the outward stroke, and followed by the downward stroke. So a musician is free to select what jhala he or she wants in what portion of the composition that he or she is playing, but we have to learn both. So before we move on, it is important that we know how to play chair, which is basically one single stroke, which is going to help you decide, which is going to help you determine which scale you are in. And it is going to be something like, you hit the chikari strings first, that is going to have the maximum impact, and then Gandhar and Pancham, and then the least absorption is going to be made by the Jor string. And the ma stroke, the string that has the main tar, the main string, that is not going to be stroked at all during jhala. It will be only stroked once during the da stroke. So the first stroke is da, and then chi chi chi, 1 2 3. We are going to play a sequence of 4 strokes. It is going to be, the first thing we are going to do is play da once, and then we are going to move over to the chikari portion and play ra thrice over on the chikari. So it's going to be, notice my right hand, it doesn't have to move a lot. It has to move in a certain way where you will not get tired and a lot of effort will not be needed. It will be very simple, but it is going to take some time. So your practice sequence till now is going to be something like, you're going to sit down with the sitar and you're going to spend 5 minutes warming up. So it will begin by a warm-up of right hand, which is the most basic lesson. We are going to start with the most basic lessons, which is da 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 ra 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 ra, as we have seen in previous videos. So it's going to be, it's very important that we get tired, because till you get tired, it's only going to be called warm-up and not practice. Practice will, that time will only, can only call it practice if you can prolong the time till you get tired. So when you're tired, till you're tired, that is going to be your warm-up period, and your practice is going to start right after that period. So if it is very important that we know that we can differentiate between warm-up and practice session. So for example, if you get tired, if you notice that you're getting tired within the first 10 minutes of practice, that is your warm-up session. Your actual practice is going to start right after that. So you will notice eventually that if your warm-up, if you're getting tired within the first 10 minutes, you have to push yourself and extend it till 12 minutes. The next day when you sit down to practice, you're probably going to observe that you're getting tired after 12 minutes. So every day you have to push yourself to 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Eventually you are not going to get tired at all, because your body is going to find out the perfect way where you don't have to put much effort in doing anything. That should be your goal. So before you can achieve that, it is very important that you have a routine, the perfect routine that is made up of the perfect exercises, especially at this point when your hands are going to be super sensitive. That is what we are going to learn today. So the first practice that you're going to do is the right hand warm up, which is something that we have already done in the first lesson. So you're going to put aside this practice for around 10 minutes, and then when it is also important that you have small breaks in between, but they cannot be large breaks. They have to be a maximum of 2 minutes, just to regenerate the muscle, just to come back, just to get out of the tiredness that your muscles may have been in. The second practice that you're going to have to do is which was lesson number 2, and then you keep on doing this for another 10 minutes, and then you have a small break of 2 minutes again. And then the third lesson is going to be something that we have learned in a video that was, I think, 2 videos ago. That was 3x3 sequences, which was based on the right hand bowl and the left hand movement along with it. Finally, you're going to end with jhala that we just learned today. That has minimum impact on your left hand but has maximum impact on your right hand. You should be able to do it for at least 10 minutes before you quit, and this should be your routine for at least 1 month before you can go on to the next exercises. I hope that these videos are really helping you out. any queries, any problems that you may be facing, you're most welcome to drop us a mail or maybe a picture of your hand or your problems on our email address that you should be having right here somewhere in the description. Until next time, thank you, take care, bye bye.